The SEC charges companies in their lending program. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be talking about the topic of you can learn a lot and you can learn many things from people's failures more than you can from their success. So, this episode, we're going to talk about this crypto lending program. Why was it charged by the SEC and the lessons learned? But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Prince Dykes. This is the Investor Show. And as always, I don't have a lot of time. And I definitely, you guys and girls don't have a lot of time. So, first, let's start off by saying this: the SEC is the Security and Exchange Commission. They are the governing body. They were created in 1934. When they were created in 1934, coming off our Great Depression that happened in 1929. Y'all probably heard of the terminology called the Rolling 20s. This was a time in American history, especially financial history, where it was known where people would borrow a bunch of money, buy a bunch of stocks. Stock market was roaring. But all that came to a screeching halt in 1929. And once that happened, after the market crash happened, that led us into what we know as the Great Depression. Now, with that being said, before this, in 1929, in the early 1900s, and in the late 1800s, the market was the wild, wild west. You had all type of black pools. You had all type of money schemes and scams. People would do everything to make money. And I always tell people this lesson: wherever there is money, there is some form of corruption. I'm sorry, correction. Corruption. There's some form of corruption wherever you find money. So, with this being said, the government knew, hey, we have to regulate and we have to stop these things that's going on. We have to protect people. So, back in 1934, they had the Security and Exchange Act that happened in 1934. They created what we know today as the Security and Exchange Commission. When you buy a stock or someone sells you a stock, they must be registered with the SEC. If you're a stockbroker, you're registered with the SEC. If you're someone that's selling stocks, or if you go to buy Nike stock, all these things are registered by the SEC. You can go to their website at sec.gov. Prince, the reason why I'm telling you guys and girls this is to set the tone for who the SEC is and what their job is. So their job is to stop fraudulent things from going on, and they're stopping fraudulent things from going on because they know what this will lead to. So right now, for prime example, you're not allowed to, in most cases, you're not allowed to take a credit card and borrow money and buy cryptocurrencies. Why don't they allow that? Because that comes from a lesson learned. When you look at people pumping dumps, when people pump up a stock just to dump them, that all comes from a lesson learned. We see a lot of this right now in our cryptocurrency market, but the case to take note of is that cryptocurrencies are a unregulated market, meaning that it's decentralized. We don't know who owns it. The SEC doesn't have its hands in it, doesn't have its hands in it. So that means that whatever goes, whatever anything can pretty much be done in the cryptocurrency world currently because it is unregulated. Not to be said about the US stock market. When we look at companies like AMC, who's had a great cycle this last quarter or this last month, you got to worry about the AMC, which is, the AMC stock. I'm pretty sure you heard about the frenzy that's been going on. It's gone from $12 up to $62 and sitting at $51 the last time I looked at it. This is in a regulated market. You've probably heard a couple times where AMC stocks were halted from being traded. And why was that? Because the SEC stepped in and stepped into New York Stock Exchange and said, nope, this company must be stopped because it is in a regulated market where they could see signs of a pump and dump. So AMC is a hot stock right now. I won't say a hot stock. It's mostly due to the social media and meme era. The meme era meaning that people can put stocks on a meme and say buy this, and everybody just go out and run and buy it without looking at the underlying benefits or finances or anything. So with that being said, AMC is in a regulated market. Cryptocurrencies are in a unregulated market. Guys and girls, follow me. And the SEC is the governing body over our regulated market. Now, with that being said, we all know the rise of cryptocurrencies, and I've had plenty of buddies, and I've been involved with plenty of programs that said, "Hey, if you buy a cryptocurrency, we give you 6% a year, 6% a month, 6% a day, and blah blah blah." They have all these type of spectacular lending programs. Then you have testimonials that are on YouTube that says, "Hey, look at me. My name is Prince Dykes, and I brought this cryptocurrency, and I've been making 6% a day, and you should too. I was once a broke person living on a beach in um, living on a beach in Florida with no idea what my future would be. But now look at me today. Now today I have it all figured out, And what I mean by it's all figured out is that, now by signing up for this program, I've done XYZ. We all seen this, ladies and gentlemen. We all heard of this. The company is called BitConnect. BitConnect in 2017 to 2018, they hired a marketing team, and then they ran all type of testimonials from people that said, "Hey, tell us how rich you are," all these things like that. But we all know how the story ended of BitConnect. So BitConnect was a company that pretty much exploded. They had a lending program where you buy cryptocurrencies, they pay you a percentage back, and whatever, right? I'm not 110% on the business model, nor do I care about the business model. But the SEC has charged BitConnect for its lending programs. It's charged 5 people. They said these 5 people raised $2 billion in an unregistered digital security asset. So a digital security asset, aka cryptocurrency, they raised $2 billion and they're charging 5 people. Got my notes written down here. So they're saying this happened from January 17 all the way to January 2017 to January 2018 that BitConnect did these things. Now, have I heard this company? Yes, I've heard the company. We used not as of lately, but years ago. I heard this company where people was on stage screaming how it changed their lives and how it was so great, how it was this and that or whatever. And I wanted a piece of it too, but I wasn't. If everybody knows me anything about cryptocurrencies, I wasn't a fan. Still kind of on the fence a little bit. I will put a disclaimer and say, yes, I do own some cryptocurrencies. I do own Sheep and what else I own? Dogecoin, Sheep. They're like lottery tickets to me. I do have a couple lottery tickets, but it's nothing as a note to write home about. But it's the same concept I took in as writing a lottery ticket. This was not an investment. It's more of a speculative thing. Like, okay, let's see what it does or whatever. If it runs up to the moon, great. If it doesn't, who cares, right? But that's not an investment. That's a speculative thing. Just like going to buy, just like going to buy lottery tickets at your local 7-Eleven gas station or whatever, right? So now let's see what else they charged them with. They also said they hired a marketing team to sell in a lending program, and they also they were, the securities is what they're being what they're selling. They were unregistered. The broker was unregistered. Nobody was registered. The people that were selling these securities was unregistered. They was not registered in the state or with the federal government. And they also said they made a bunch of testimonial videos that were, I guess, not legitimate. Just not overly surprising. This is a scheme that's been going on for 100 years. Please check out Money Explained on Netflix if it's still there. They spoke very great about the history of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my story on why they was charged. Now, I want to get into the thought process of what now that you know this information, how can you avoid this from happening? Because guess what they always say about history, ladies and gentlemen, y'all already know it will repeat itself and it will continue to repeat itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into that here momentarily about the lessons learned from this. So let's get into it. The BitConnect company was charged by the SEC. The SEC.gov, you can look at their full press release. They charged 5 people who raised $2 billion on an unsecured digital asset. When it says a digital asset, we don't even, could be some type of cryptocurrency or some lending program that they had going on. They marketed to sell this. They marketed to sell this, and by marketing this wasn't good for people. And also, that it wasn't good for people. They also said the marketing team that they had and the marketing team that they had and that the securities was unregistered. So pretty much, long story short, they're looking at it was a scheme. A lot of people got hurt. Many people were um, many people was hurt. Many people were lost a lot of money behind this. So the SEC is stepping in to make some charges and to make some claims on people. So that's a big thing that you have there. Now we're going to go into what were some red flags that you can see as an investor to say, hey, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that I can see because guess what? It will happen again. So the first thing is it was an unregistered security. Now, for prime example, my ultimate goal one day is to take a company public. Right now, I want to start a wealth management company and take the wealth management company public. And for that to be done, if I want to do that, I mean, I'm going to sell a registered security, meaning I have to have all type of lawyers, all type of people, all type of accountants. My life has to be an open book. What's happening with the company? What did we buy? What did we sell? Where's our headquarters? Where's the money at? We're going to have to get audited. All those type of things to become registered to take money from the public. An unregistered security is something that, let's say, I create myself. I mean, I say, hey guys, buy stock to my privately held company. I'm not registered. The stock is not registered, and I go out to raise money from everybody. That's unregistered. So, as an investor, you really don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So, for prime example, you have companies out there that I've invested into that are unregistered, or companies like, let's say this company, like you have companies out there like Start Engine, a website where you can invest into companies that are not publicly traded and invest $500. Ladies and gentlemen, to be honest, those companies are probably not going to go anywhere. Majority of them, I want to say 98% of them that are starting there, if they are even legitimate, they're probably not going to go anywhere. But they're trying to raise money from the public. Their securities are unregistered. They have no financial reports. They have no financial data. They'll just tell you like, "Hey, we're a company and we're going to start a baseball league with animals, and these animals are going to have on jerseys and they're going to hit baseball bats. They're going to have baseball bats and they're going to play baseball, and you could become a league owner, right? You don't know where they're going to get these animals from. You don't know how they're going to make money. You don't know how they're going to go on tour. You don't know any of that, right? You just invest into it. Nor there's a governing body to say we're going to audit them, make sure to see what's going on. So, for prime example, when you have a registered security, every 3 months it has to release a 10Q report, and at the end of the year, it has to release a 10K. Also, if it make any big noises in the company, it has to put out an 8K form, a form 8K, which is filed on the SEC.gov or the company's investor relationship tab that's publicly traded. So it's an open book, literally an open book. You can see what's going on inside the company. With an unregistered company, I invested into some friends and family here or there. There wasn't a whole lot of transparency. They kind of tell you what their goal is and what they want to do, and it's mostly you believing in that person. That's something I don't recommend anybody that's tuning and watching in does. I think that is for the most high. That is for the highest level of sophisticated investors to go out and do that, right? And what I mean by that's for the highest level is, for prime example, if you're starting off, you should be taking risk, but calculated risk. And then as you become more of a mature of an investor, now that this is your play money, like on Shark Tank, yeah, those judges sitting there, this is their play money. They have an extra $10 million or a couple $1 million that they can put somewhere. And guess what they do? They go in there and say, they go in there, they sit down with a company and say, hey, what's your company? Oh, you know what? You're going to, I don't know, cook watermelons and put whipped cream on top of them and sell them to people. That sounds kind of cool. I think you're a cool guy. Here's $250,000 and give me 10% of that company. Ha ha ha. And they walk off. And you have investment groups that do this to thousands or hundreds of companies, if not thousands of companies, that they do this continuously, but they are expecting 98% of those people to lose. That 1 or 2% that will make it, they'll make their money from. But you, as a novelist investor, beginning a moderate investor, going on to a sophisticated level, that's a level I wouldn't start off in. That's a mistake I always tell people that I made. I became very interested in that. I watched something ventured one night, and I said, man, I want to be like these guys. I want to be a judge on Shark Tank. I want to make investments like that. And guess what? It wasn't a good idea once I learned, like, wow, look how many things I missed out over versus the things, look how many things I missed out over trying to get these high risk things that are probably not going to pan out. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. And after this break, we're going to go in how to identify a scheme or a scam or likely scam. That phone call you get that says likely scam? That's what we're going to do right here on the Prince of Investment. We're going to take a quick break. I mean, a quick break. You keep this thing running, and we'll be right back. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Oh, I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here live with the Prince of Investment, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys and girls live all the way from the beautiful city and state of Denver, Colorado, via Honolulu, Hawaii. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And what I mean by we're back, I'm going to go over what we talked about earlier. We talked about the SEC charging this company by the name of BitConnect. If you want to get the actual press release the SEC put out, you can head over to sec.gov and go under their news releases. And they don't say BitConnect, they say BitConnect. They say the company BitConnect's name inside of the press release, but not on the cover. So the SEC is out here charging BitConnect for its lending program on cryptocurrencies, and we're talking about the lessons learned that happened. So real quick, they charged 5 people who raised $2 billion of an unregistered digital security from January 17th to January 18th, and they hired a marketing team to sell the securities, and they hired a marketing team to sell the securities, made these fake testimonials. These people that sold these securities were unregistered, so was the registration. Everything was just, they were kind of out on their own in the wild, wild west. They was outside of the traditional system. So in this episode, we talked about who the SEC was and also how the SEC plays a role into going after BitConnect. Now, with this said, we want to know, how can you see in this world of cryptocurrencies who's real and fake? Now, this has always been a situation I have always struggled with in the cryptocurrency space. Is yes, I own some SHIB, I own some Dogecoin, I own some, what's the other one out there? SHIB and Dogecoin and Stella and Bitcoin, but I don't know anything about them really. I don't know who own them. I don't know how many coins are made, or how many coins are not made, and how many people are using them. I don't get 10K reports, 10Q reports, 8K reports. I don't get any reports. All I get is news releases from all these random people. I don't know who the CEO is. I don't know if the CEO stepped down, stepped up, stole some coins, took some coins. They're looking to sell coins in Japan or Russia or whatever. This is what I'm looking at, right? I don't know. I do not know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. So with that being said, let's go to how these schemes work. One, the lure of very extremely high returns. Who cares about making 7% a year when I can make $100,000 a year? Meaning by 7% a year, let's say the stock market for the last 100 years it has a annual average return of 7%. That sounds so boring. When I seen Bitcoin, my SHIB, when I purchased it, it went up 100% overnight, right? So it's more attractive to say, hey, the high returns, right? People want the high returns with little to no work. It's hard when you're working at no. If you got a regular job, no problem. But let's say if tonight I head to a cigar lounge, cigar bar, cigar lounge, and let's say the person that's working there, they may be getting paid $12 an hour working at the cigar bar, but then they're online seeing their buddies who made $6,000, $3,000. They sit and watch it double, triple, and quadruple. And they love to put their review mirror up. They love to say, "Man, you know what? If you would have brought SHIB 5 years ago, you'd have had this much. If you'd have brought Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, all this stuff, you'd have done this and done that. You could have been a millionaire. Or look at this 25-year-old millionaire." And the thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, what I've seen and learned through the history of finance, there's always people that come up with schemes that will become millionaires. There are people who will grow to 7 foot and go to the NBA. But guess what? You got to realize that person is 0.001% that, hey, he's going to go to the NBA and get $100 million contract. You got to understand that, hey, that is very, very rare. These schemes that come up, people see them, and guess what? Sometimes you'll be so close to them. Did I know what Bitcoin was when it came out? Yeah, I heard of it. I've heard of it for years, And guess what happened? I'm like, well, you know what? What if SHIB is a new Bitcoin? What is Dogecoin or SafeMoon or this? What if that's the new Bitcoin? I don't want to miss out now. So you take on this fear of missing out mentality and you jump into these things. But keep in mind, those things are always scheming. First of all, high returns in a short amount of time. It takes advantage of Americans. I'm sorry to say it, majority of Americans, we're lazy. We live in a microwave society. We want things fast, here and now. We don't want to wait till 7 o'clock at night when your show comes on. We want to watch it when we want to watch it, the playback or whatever, right? So the big thing is unregistered unregistered security. Unregistered security in an unregulated market with flashy marketing. Unregulated security in an unregulated market, flashy marketing, promising high returns. Those are the four things that I realized news that starts to set off bells and whistles in the back of my head. When I see unregistered security, meaning this security is not registered with anybody, it's just somebody wrote this on a piece of paper and said, you're going to own 10,000 shares of ABC before it goes public. That's what is the governing body? Who says it's there? Being registered makes it that, hey, I know the name, the phone number, the address, what they're investing in, all that type of stuff. Unregistered market. Look at cryptocurrency. There's nobody over the cryptocurrency market who's watching anything or seeing for any suspicious activities that I know of, at least. But in the stock market, you had that with the SEC. Unregulated market, unregulated security, flashy marketing. When these people are, oh, look at me, I got rich. I'm rich as I don't know what. You should be rich too. When you see all the flashy marketing, look at my house and my car and my jewelry, and I'm living a life. I'm, galloping down the beach. This has been going on since the 1930s, ladies and gentlemen. Way, 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 way before I was born, and most of you guys and girls that are tuning in has been born. So now you got to look at the flashy marketing. That's a red flag. Look at my Lamborghini. Look at me. I'm on the beach with all my girlfriends, and look at my watch, my rings. That's number three. Number four, promising you extremely high returns with little to no work in a short amount of time. I don't really have to do nothing. All I gotta do is come up with $5,000, and by the end of 6 months, if this takes off, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and boom, here I am. Now, the people that come to you, they either take the bull, not the bull, they either take, I like to call it the dog or the cat mentality. The cat person is the person where they have the big watery eyes mentality or psychology is they have the big watery eyes and they speak on to your emotions, meaning that maybe y'all grew up together, maybe y'all grew up from an area, maybe you're very religious, maybe you're a religious person. Anything they try to play onto your emotions. Oh, my mom, my dad, the legacy for your kids. Don't you want to have something for your kids as well? They play on your emotions. The dog type person, the dog mentality and investor, they're the people that's telling you you're going to miss out. You better hurry up and get in. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You're going to miss out and you're going to be sorry. They usually use the past performance of something that done great. You heard of Bitcoin, right? Yeah, this is Bitcoin before it became Bitcoin. You're going to miss out, right? So this is what I mean by the dog mentality. The person that comes to you, they use the dog mentality usually pushes the fear of missing out. The cat mentality is a person who usually has these big watery eyes and they play on your emotions. What about your son? They find out what you care about. What about your son, your daughter? You working all those hours at your job and you're not getting anywhere. Don't you want to get somewhere in life? And they start to pay attention to things like that. And they start to say, hey, look, I got a way where you can quit that job and spend more time with your dog and your kids and your wife or your husband or whatever. And they play onto your emotions and they have an unregulated security. The person who's selling you the security, they're unregulated. Please watch the person who's selling you something. Do they have a license? Are they licensed? Are they registered? Do they have education in this at least? Right? So they come to you with an unregulated security. They come with the dog or the cat mentality. And with the unregulated security, the person is unregulated. They usually come with some flashy marketing about they're going to tell you how it changed their life, their friends, their cousin, or whatever. And they're going to promise you these crazy, ridiculous high returns that you can't get in real estate, stocks, or business. And this is this new thing. So those are my four lessons learned that I took out of the BitConnect SEC lending program filing. And SEC lending program filing, this was very bad for them. The companies pretty much disappeared. I remember when they was very prominent on YouTube with all type of people yelling and streaming, telling how it changed their life. And now look at them today. And this is not the first time, not the second time, not even the 100th time this has happened. And this will happen continuously into the future. And as an investor and as a professional, I like to look out for these things because I'm aggressive. I want to try new things, but I can be crazy, right? So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys and girls took something out of that. The SEC coming at this company, Big Connect, for its lending program. Hopefully you guys and girls took something out of it. And as always, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And to the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever else crazy you see me doing around the globe. Peace, be safe. I'm out, and thank you.